Money isn't real, but it rules everything. Hey, think about every coin, bill, and note you've ever touched. Imagine them as tiny time capsules, carrying fingerprints, secrets, drugs, germs, and tiny histories of every hand that ever held them. Now imagine all of those little histories stacked together. The total cash in the world, the digital ledgers that back it, the invisible machinery that creates it, and you'll see a system that's less like a machine and more like a shared hallucination. A hallucination that runs countries, funds wars, builds skyscrapers, and can evaporate overnight. Let's open with a number that will flip what you thought you knew. The physical cash in the world, all coins and banknotes, sits somewhere between about $5 trillion and up to $9 trillion depending on how you count it. That's the money you could pick up and hold. But if you think that's the total, you're already behind the story. Now take a breath, because the real scale is wild. When economists widen the lens to include all the deposit-like spendable money, checking accounts, short-term deposits, savings, the numbers explode. Estimates of the global broad money pile, the digital wealth that actually changes hands in the economy, range from roughly $95 trillion to well over $140 trillion. Depending on definitions and the moment you measure, that means the paper in your wallet is crumbs compared to the digital tide that actually drives prices and power. So where does all that money come from? It's not just printing presses and vaults. The starting point is the central bank, the institution with the legal power to make money exist. When the central bank decides the economy needs more liquidity, it creates money. Sometimes it prints notes, more often it creates balances with keystrokes. Then commercial banks enter the scene. The system that lets banks lend more money than they physically hold, fractional reserve banking, multiplies those central bank origins into far larger sums. Think of a single $5 deposit becoming $80, even $800 across loans and redeposits. That multiplication is where most modern money is born. Let me make that visceral. Deposit $100. The bank keeps a fraction, maybe $10, and lends $90. That $90 gets deposited elsewhere, and the process repeats. Suddenly, $100 has become hundreds in the system. This is not conspiracy, it's math, law, and policy. And it explains why numbers like $100 trillion worldwide are not science fiction, they're the math of modern finance. But how much physical cash do banks actually hold? Vaults are a lot messier than the movies let on. Teller drawers regularly carry small sums, often a few thousand. Vaults can hold tens or hundreds of thousands, and occasionally millions, but most money sits in electronic accounts, moving at the speed of code, not the speed of a robber's getaway. The era of huge armored car cash piles is shrinking. Electronic balances are the real treasure now. Let's pull back to households. Surveys show Americans still keep cash at home, whether for emergencies, tips, or habit. Recent reports place the average cash people carry or store in the US at dozens to a few $100s. Plenty to buy groceries for a day, not enough to control markets, but multiplied by hundreds of millions of households, it's shocking. When totaled, collect all the loose change in one country and you're still only scratching the surface compared to the digital sums on bank spreadsheets. Now the ugly, fascinating part, contamination. Money is filthy. Literally. Scientific studies show viruses like influenza can survive on banknotes for up to 72 hours in lab conditions, and many surveys find a high proportion of notes carry traces of illegal drugs. Depending on sample and city, studies have reported anywhere from a few percent to nearly universal traces of cocaine on bills. In some London focus tests, almost every note carried cocaine residue. That means the paper in your wallet is a microbiological scrapbook of society. Does that mean you'll get sick or high from touching cash? Probably not from a single note. The residues are minuscule, but the health angle matters because it reveals how connected we are. A single contaminated note moving through thousands of hands becomes a vector, not the main one, but a silent conveyor of microbes and molecules from one neighborhood to another. Let's talk creation and destruction again, but with edge cases. If central banks can create money, counterfeiting increases it, illegally, and burning money decreases it. When you burn a $100 bill, you've destroyed wealth for yourself and marginally increased the purchasing power of everyone else's money. The effect is mathematically real but practically negligible unless you're burning mountains of cash, which some artists and radicals have actually done. In the early 1990s, stad and stanities, a Greek Jonas Stuart grew, my dream jobbies famously burned £1 million in public as performance art protest, a shocking demonstration that money can be destroyed as a statement. Let's layer in culture and belief. Most modern currencies are fiat, Latin for let it be done. They have value because governments decree it, and because people believe in that decree. That shared belief is a fragile kind of power. Imagine a major political collapse or an invasion. In such extremes, fiat value can be erased locally overnight. Commodity money, gold, food, fuel, retains intrinsic value independent of laws. That's why gold and water survive geopolitical shocks in ways paper currency does not. This is the Tinkerbell dynamic. Money needs belief to exist, but there's also a reverse Tinkerbell trick. Sometimes the more believers there are, the more fragile the belief becomes. When everyone trusts a system absolutely, they behave in ways that can undermine that trust, from risky financial leveraging to bubbles that pop when belief falters. And here's a truth that's part economics, part social psychology. Money is a story we all agree to tell. Laws, contracts, and bank systems formalize the story. Technology writes it in new ink. Cryptocurrencies tried to change the narrator. Digital payment firms rewrote the stage directions. Yet, the plot remains. People exchange value because they expect someone else will accept that value later. So what should you take away from these numbers and stories? 1. Physical cash is small but symbolic. Trillions of dollars in coins and notes exist, but they're the tip of the iceberg. The ocean beneath is digital. 2. Most money is created by banks and belief. Central bank keystrokes plus fractional reserve lending multiply base money into far larger sums. 3. Cash is a social artifact. It carries our microbes, our drug traces, our fingerprints, and our habits. It's human debris in paper form. 4. Belief is the fragile engine. As long as we believe fiat money is valuable, it is. But beliefs can change, and when they do, value can shred fast. And finally, if money is a shared hallucination, then we, individually and collectively, are the keepers of that hallucination. We can inflate it, deflate it, hoard it, burn it, or redesign it. We can treat it as a tool for building better societies or as a religion that amplifies inequality. The numbers, $5 trillion in paper, $100+ trillion in digital claims, are real. But the choice of what the numbers mean is still ours. Can you imagine designing a money we truly trust? Or do we keep trading in belief, letting it shape the world that shapes us? Thanks for watching.